The solar core requires your attention, Hierarch. Please visit it at your earliest convenience.
No, after all of that, it looks like the first time we get back to Shakuras after how many years? The planet's going to be blown up. Still, before we move on to our preparations for that, we do have a few conversations to go through, and we do have new areas to access.
Of all the Templar, you never wavered in the belief that our two peoples could live in unity. It is something I admired in you.
It is ironic to hear you say this. All this time, I believed you were reluctant to accept the unity I sought.
You and I had many a disagreement in the Twilight Council. For day by day, I saw my people losing what they were. I saw our precious old ways erode.
You wished to preserve them.
I am Nerazim, Dark Templar. I hold great pride in my people.
But you are also Protoss. That is the greater affiliation.
That is not what the Conclave believed when we were exiled long ago. Your kind had ire. Our culture is all we ever had.
I want to say something about that, but nothing comes to mind. I mean, I'm not really good with this whole different community kind of thing. When they fight with each other, I think I'm best kind of leaving it be. Otherwise I might anger someone and I might get slapped on the face. Either way, we have the War Council next, with some new conversations and some changes to our army. Now, before we talk with Rohana, I actually want to go through the assembly plane first because it's a little quicker.
Cloaked warriors are now available for deployment.
Now, for our Dark Templars, as we know, they are the invisible kind of units, but they get a new ability now that we have them. It allows them to do damage to units quickly in an area. It's useful, but at the same time it's unnecessary. Dark Templars already have enough strength to really go through things quickly. This kind of just makes it, why bother using normal movement to pick them specifically when you can just a move. But we get a new unit, Avengers.
Vengeance for ire.
Avengers are a more defensive type of Dark Templar. They are basically how Dark Templar are normally, being permanently cloaked and all that. However, they have a passive ability that allows them to go back to the Dark Shrine, which is what you use to make Dark Templar, upon death. It has a cooldown on it, but this means you can keep these units going as a defensive measure. So, you can keep them behind as they take care of any units that get by your army, and they act as a defensive measure to keep them at bay if you need to bring your army back, which is useful. And I'm going to give them a bit of a go. We had Dark Templars before, and as such we are going to switch our units up a bit. We don't really have that many choices still, but we can bring the Stalkers and the new shield regeneration back. And for the Zealots, we're going to bring Centurions around.
Shadow Guard waits.
It will give them their Shadow Charge and all that.
All this time, this wretched little world was within striking distance of our fleets.
Much has changed since your era, Preserver. The Dark Templar are now our allies.
There was a time when the Protoss were broken. Throughout the aeon of strife, we tore at each other with wanton abandon. Only one path was ever found to end the madness and unify our people. The Kala. The Dark Ones rejected its light. They denied their own race. How can you fight for them?
For one so sworn to preserve our history, Rohana, how can you be so blind to its turn?
I see I have offended you, Hierarch. My apologies. Adapting to this period is difficult.
Go have a cup of tea, that usually makes things better. I don't know, I'm British, that's how I cheer up. Right, now we're going to the Solar Core, which has been unlocked for us.
The solar matrix Matrix core. Truly an impressive sight.
A synthetic star. Imagine what went into its creation. This chamber provides power to the Spear of Adun and all its systems. Its radiance even contributes nourishment for our warriors.
How long until you can bring its tactical systems online?
System analysis has begun, but the star has lain dormant for an eon. It will take time, and a powerful ignition catalyst like Solarite to restore it to full capacity.
Solarite? The Firstborn haven't utilized Solarite in millennia.
This vessel is ancient, Hierarch. We will need to exhaust even unconventional resources if we are to bring it to bear.
Do what you can, Phase Smith. We will acquire what you need.
Very well. You may begin augmenting the solar core whenever you are ready. Select the core to start reviewing your options, Hierarch.
Hold on a second. Can I just say, how the fuck does a star work in this situation? I thought it's really difficult to really be near a star. And yet here we are, we have a synthetic star. How the fuck do you make a synthetic star? Fucking sci-fi. Sometimes it just feels like bollocks. Either way, this is actually a really useful mechanic.
This array displays an overview of the Spear of Adun's weapon and support systems. Each system can only be configured to have one active ability at a time. You may select different abilities to complement your tactical decisions in different battles, Hierarch. Our current available Solarite is displayed here. Any leftover Solarite can be routed to our auxiliary systems. You may begin diverting Solarite now.
I could have done it before, but you were talking. Right, the Spear of Adun, as we know, has been able to support us. Now, this allows us to do a couple of things. Now, we have these abilities here which are free, but we could also change them, so say we wanted to rapidly speed up our structures, weapon and research to quickly get some things going, or create some defensive areas for us to use, we could. But we also have two other things which I say are the better choice to take early on. Starting supply and construction time reduction. Now these take 5 Solarite each, and we can get a nice reduction to basically our construction time, so we can get base up quicker, and we can get a small army started before we really need to start building pylons, which is all nice. Now you get a lot of Solarite, and if you ever need to get some you missed out in a past mission, the mission archive is there to go back and repeat them. Either way, let's see what Carrick has to say.
You look different, Phase Smith.
Ah, you must be referring to these mechanical arms. I constructed them to improve my efficiency while running the solar core. So far, they have been quite helpful.
Yeah, don't turn into a crazy robot, Carrick. Actually, you know what, I kind of like those arms. They look kind of cool. There's not really much else here for now, since we don't have much Solarite and the core is kind of just hiding. It's a shy core. It may as well be.
The evacuation ships have reported in. All are present and are being escorted by the Spear of Adun.
Ah, good to hear, Verizon. Now, we have another mission to take care of. As you know, we don't want Shakura's to really be a place for Amon, so we're going to have to get rid of it.
This was not an easy decision, but I would rather see Shakura's destroyed than overwhelmed by Amon's Zerg. We have much to plan, Hierarch.
Yes, we do, especially with 50 million Zerg already on the planet. Jesus Christ. This mission is more defensive, and with that we get a new defensive building. The Kadaran Monolith. This thing, it packs a punch, but it's pretty slow. So you want to keep it in the back of your base, or your defensive line, where it can do its job carefully.
Tell me, Vorazun, how will we bring destruction to your world?
The Zelnaga Temple's phase prism can be overloaded, forcing a spike of energy into the planet's core. Enough of a charge, and the planet will shatter. Amon will not possess my world.
I have been thinking about this choice.
Are you reconsidering?
No. My time here has reminded me of the courage of your people. That we must fight. If we are to suffer, then so too will Amon. We will lure as many of Amon's hybrid and Zerg through the gateway as we can. Only once enough are through to wound him will we overload the temple and flee.
You mean to bleed him? Bold. But we can't risk the forces it would require to do such a thing.
Leave that to me, Matriarch. I have learned much from the Dark Templar.
Our forces have secured the Zelnaga Temple grounds. Artemis, how go your preparations?
I am configuring the temple now, but without the Uraj and the Callus, it will take time.
Time is not all it will take. The temple's energies are regulated by 3 Zenith stones. Only once they are destroyed can the temple be overloaded.
Until then, we must defend it from the Zerg and their hybrid masters.
The Nerazim have long used Kadaran monoliths to protect our lands. I see your Phase-Smith has become familiar with them.
Indeed, Matriarch. The monoliths are quite deadly and fire a considerable distance. They should prove instrumental in our defense.
The moment has come. Let us begin.
Can I just say the face mist is horrible at placement? That is a horrible place to put that Kadaran monolith. Shouldn't be there.
The sooner the Zenith stones are destroyed, the better off we shall be. The Zerg will overwhelm the temple grounds shortly.
Agreed. Although, should it become necessary, my Dark Templar can sneak through the enemy and destroy the stones.
Yep, that's a bit of a hint. We can easily go take care of these stones very quickly if we wanted to. In fact, you can do this mission really, really quickly. Just the Dark Templar can go take out 2 of these really easily if you're quick about it. But we're going to try and hold out. Because where's the fun in just rushing? Besides, we're not going to have much trouble for now. As you can see, they're slowly building up forces to come attack us, which won't matter because we've got defensive forces going. Now, we're gonna want the Dark Templar around here.
The Zerg gather for an attack to the southwest. Ignite your blades, warriors.
Now, if you remember the Protoss mission in Wings of Liberty, which was meant to be like the end of the Protoss part of that campaign, where you basically had to hold out and you couldn't win. You just had to hold out for so long. There was a tactic that was used in brutal difficulty called the DT wall. You can kind of do it in this mission, but I wouldn't recommend it. Mostly because a lot of flyers come by and all that, and because there's a lot more to cover. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 entrances, 2 of them are near your bases, or 3 of them if you choose to expand. And on top of that, you don't have as much of a base to build up on. So you can't really get Dark Templars out fast enough. Even with the Spear of Adun's offensive capabilities, with the extra orbital strikes and all that, it's not really the greatest thing in the world. Looks like they're sending in more. They're mostly going to be sending in little stuff, so don't worry about it. Save your Spear of Adun's energy and just build up a base. Damn Zella. He's like, oh, I can help. Let's get a Dark Shrine going anyway. So if those Dark Templars get killed, they'll be walked back to safety. And let's get another gateway to speed up production. And don't want to go there.
Another brood of Zerg is preparing to attack from a hive to the northwest.
Right, we're going to be moving our defensive forces over here real quickly because we don't have our base fully set up yet. We don't have a defensive and offensive and all that. But what we do have is our Zealots and our Dark Templars. You know, oh, not Dark Templars, Avengers. Honestly, that is a kind of a strange name. Let's get another one up anyway. And let's get this up here for earlier. Now, what you want to do in terms of positioning, unlike the Phase Myth, is... Well, first off, let's move these guys so we can put them better. You want a cannon here, a battery in between. I just trapped the probe, hold on. A battery there, and then you want the Khaydarin Monolith in the back. Khaydarin Monoliths are slow, they shouldn't be in the front. If you want the extra defense, I suggest putting a second Khaydarin Monolith right where it would be useful. And for this area here, I'm going to put up some more shield batteries than normal. And get another couple of cannons going, just for the extra defense. Incoming! It's okay, we're going to have some defensives coming in with some orbital strikes. All well and good, especially since our shield batteries came up and running. As you can see here, we got another force coming in. Now, our little defense here is warping up and getting in position. This...
Artanis, our observers are reporting a vast number of Zerg have poured onto Shakuris.
And yet, not a single hybrid. Amon is testing our resolve.
That worries onto our plan. Just saying. Now, as you can see, this is working all well and good. We just want to get some stalkers next to the cannons to act as support, because while this is a strong and solid defense, it takes a while to get through it. So you want to kind of support it as you go on. Now we should have a probe, get ready to set up some another area's defense. Just put these here. And then we can put the Khaydarin. Shut up, we have enough.
The Zerg approach the temple from the southeastern access way.
No need to worry, we have enough units. And fortunately, this, I'm going to say right now, the back area here, don't worry about it as much as other areas. It's actually the least attacked from my memory. Let's see.
Let our enemy know our fury.
No, it's only a couple of Zerglings. That's the worst that could happen. Right. We're getting plenty of minerals, but not enough gas. If you want, you can kind of just expand here. Actually, we should. We have enough minerals going. We should expand and focus on the gas. Let's see. What have we actually got coming? Wow, really? That's the attack we're worried about? This one over here looks scarier.
Ready yourselves, Templar. The Zerg are moving to assault both sides of the temple.
Relax, we got defenses on one side and we got plenty on the other. I honestly want this to be a little bit of a better situation, so... Actually, I can't. Curse you, Karax, and your horrible positioning.
Base is under attack.
This will be fine.
Let our enemy know our fury.
And this area is going to be fine as well. Okay, that's all settled. You guys, can you move, please, so I can get the probe to do its job? Now, this area is fairly big, so we want a couple of cannons. Wait. I was about to lock myself in. That's a bad thing to do. We're going to want 2 shield batteries since this is a bit of a bigger area. And then once we have the minerals, we can go put on the Khaydarin Monolith.